spirit of your spirit, blood of your blood, bones of your bones, flesh of your flesh. I call upon you to come forward to hear my prayers and requests.
Bless. Lead me on my destiny. Be at peace and good character. Okay, I think I'm set. I know y'all. I ain't supposed to be doing all this handling, but one-man show. So pardon the interruption. Let's get it in. Greetings, everybody. I am Jasir Franklin, founder of Heal PTHD.com, or post-traumatic hood disorders, and a plethora of other things. But this is my mission statement, and this is what I'm into now. This is my purpose in life, I feel, is healing PTHD, or what I call hood-based trauma, or some people like to call community-based trauma. Whatever fits and rocks your boat. Let's go. So today I want to talk to you about a few things, but first I want to get started with a couple of announcements of things that we have coming up. So first thing is next Saturday, June 20th, we're going to be at Ladera Park with another Hood Summit. It's going to be about fatherhood. We want to invite out young fathers, new fathers, old fathers, all fathers. But particularly, we want to talk to brothers out there who are fathers currently. Maybe you just became a father. Maybe you just became a father. Maybe you have been a father for a few years now. Maybe your kids are grown, but you're still a father, right? Maybe you're a grandfather like myself. Maybe there's so many different aspects of being a father. We want to talk particularly to the ones who are fathers now, kids that are still in grade school. But we want to bring in the older fathers, the OG fathers, bring us in, and let's sprinkle some wisdom on these young fathers so that they can get a backdrop of what fatherhood looks like, could look like, or should look like. So that's what this next Hood Summit is going to be. So if you're interested, go to the website. Again, it's healpthd.com. Go there and register for that. The seats are limited, so please. I know people always say that, right? But it's only so much space in one room. So please, if you want to be involved in that, brothers, if you got some things you want to talk about, get out your chest, you need some understanding, this is a good space for you to do it in. All right. Secondly, after that, we got something called what we call a Rewired course that we have, which is so many different legs to it. But one of the main ones we're going to be doing next is the Father in You. That's a 3-day workshop. So we're going to sprinkle a whole lot of information into that one so you can get a bigger grip on what fatherhood is all about, the father in you, the father that was missing in you. One of my favorite things is, how do you be a father when you've never been a son? That's a tough one. So unless you learn or have seen it, how do you know what to do? Oh, you got to put yourself in around around the right circles of people who can teach you the right things, not based on their experiences only, but based on something higher than them. All right. So that's what this fathering you thing is going to be all about. We have a couple other things coming up in July, but I'm going to save those for that. But this one here right now, I want to talk about, again, the Hood Summit Father event, and then the Fathering You workshop coming right after that. So if you have anyone you know that wants to think should be in one of those classes or one of those sessions, please send them to healpthd.com. Have them to go sign up, register, and we'll do the rest. All right. Now, let's talk about why we're here today. We're here today because of what we call Reset Sunday. Let me make you understand what Reset Sunday is about. Reset, we should know, right? If your TV is glitching, your computer is glitching, your phone is glitching, what they actually do, reset it, right? If you reset it, it might trigger something to make it start functioning better, right? Get rid of some bugs, all that kind of good stuff, right? So this is Reset Sunday. Sunday's the actual beginning of the week. So we're going to start resetting on Sundays so that the rest of our week goes well. What are we resetting? Well, we're resetting PTHDs. Anything that's PTSD related that we still deal with on a daily basis. And if you grew up in what we call the red-lined areas, which they call the hood in some places, if you grew up in those areas, you have some things you need to reset for sure. Not to be embarrassed by anything. Trust me, I still do. I tell y'all all the time. I don't teach from a space of highly elevated on a perch by myself. I don't teach from that space. I teach from I'm boots on the ground in it every day. I'm still dealing with PTSDs. So again, if you're like me and you want to get through this PTSD and you want to solve the issues, crack the codes on it, how to get rid of it, this is why we do what we do. And I want to also offer you, it's time for members to become members. We got a lot of stuff coming, y'all. And this membership is going to be way worth it. For those who are ready to truly heal and get the stuff going and get it moving, man, we got a lot of stuff coming. You just got to go to the website, check some stuff out. Again, healpthd.com. But we got a lot of stuff coming. So members, let's go get it. Let's put in work. All right. So again, while we're here, let's talk about it. We are here because of Reset Sundays. Today's topic for Reset Sundays is what I call chapter fractures. Okay, let me put it up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Chapter fractures. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. Now, what is that? And again, I want y'all to know that this is presented by yours truly, Jasir, healpthd.com. Okay, now, what is that about? Let's talk about it. The chapters in our lives, we think that we finished, you know, that hurt that you went through, that heartbreak you went through, that disappointment you went through, a lot of the things that scarred you once in your life, either in childhood, even as an adult, things that have scarred you in life, are they truly finished? Just because you moved on don't mean that it's finished. It's because you said, you know what? I left that behind me. That's in my rear view. I ain't worried about her and him. I got this. I'm doing this now. Like you live in the high on the hall, whatever it is. You think because you went in that direction that that thing back there is gone. I want you to think again. Some of y'all are chasing these things because of what's back there. Let's keep that a buck. Some people get motivated by the things that they go through, which is cool. It pushes you. It gets you to the next phase. But just because you got to the next phase, it's that thing is that splinter out of your thumb still, or is it still there driving you? If you don't need that motivation, then it's gone. If you still need that motivation, it's not gone. It's not finished. So let's be honest. The truth is, some of us never actually ended the chapter. We never even finished reading the chapter. We never got an understanding about it, what it was about, why it came, why it was written, none of that. We just kind of moved on to the next thing in the book. called life. And these things are there because, not because you didn't pass the test. Remember the last one we said, are you being tested or disrespected? That's not because you didn't pass the test. It's more because you wanted to just move on physically. You didn't want to be depressed. You didn't want to be mad. You didn't want this to hold you back. You didn't want this to be a crutch in your life. You wanted something else, and you said, I'm going to move on, right? But because something fractured inside of us during that chapter in our life, and we never stopped long enough to heal it, things come along in our lives that we don't recognize as products of that fracture in our chapters in our lives. We start getting broken relationships. Well, let me rephrase this. The broken fractures in our lives create bigger fractures later on in our lives and other people's lives, right? So because we never stop to heal it, broken relationships show up. And it's probably because of a betrayal. It's probably because of childhood wounds. It's probably because of childhood abandonment, humiliation, failures, losses, violence, rejection, even disappointment by different people, and maybe even disappointment for yourself. Maybe you didn't reach a goal you wanted to reach. Maybe you didn't graduate from college. Maybe you didn't get the person you wanted, but somebody else got them. Like whatever it is, that's a fracture if it hurts you that bad and you're still using it for motivation and gas. Instead of putting a cast on the fractures, allowing ourselves to heal properly, we kept moving. If you ever broke a bone, and I have before, remember I broke my pinky finger, and I just didn't feel like putting this cast on no more, so I took it off. And now my finger is permanently disfigured. And every time it gets cold, my bone aches all the time. I didn't want the cast on. And I've done the same thing in my life for a lot of different things. Finances, romances, relationships, work, all kinds of things. I didn't put the cast on the thing properly, and it still hurts me to this day. And technically, this is kind of what PTHD is all about. You see, PTHD is technically a lot of fractured people who grew up in between the red lines, who haven't really had a chance to put a word behind what it is or to identify what it actually is, because most of us never think to. It's so normal in our neighborhoods. So if you know or you don't know that a lot of these fractures that you've gone through, these heartbreaks, these pains you've gone through, are actually fracturing the things that are in front of you, yeah, that could be a thing. It could be a real thing. So, but you know what we do? We keep on performing. We keep on surviving. We keep reading the book of our lives while bleeding through the pages at the same time. At the same time. And eventually we convinced ourselves that that chapter is over. But if it still controls your reactions, if it triggers your anger, if it shapes your fears, if it affects how you love, trust, parent, communicate, and how you see yourself, then maybe the chapter never actually closed. Let me check the chat room because I think there's something going on here. All right. Hello, everybody in Instagram land. Hopefully Instagram, y'all get this because I think my thing is tripping out over here, but I'm gonna keep going. So, like I said, if it still affects you, but you actually remove it, then maybe the chapter never actually ended. Maybe it's just got buried. The pain you keep ignoring, that reoccurring emotional ache, that inner agitation, that numbness, those may be spiritual nudges, signals from the spiritual high power reminding you this still needs healing, because unresolved fractures don't stay isolated in one chapter. They bleed through the pages of every book in your life. They travel, in other words. They don't stay stagnant. I want to know from people here right now, can you hear what I'm saying? The thing keeps glitching, and I don't know if I'm being heard. Please let me know if you can hear me in this thing over here, this live stream on YouTube or Facebook. If you can hear me, please say something to me. Talk to me. Put me something in the chat. I'll keep going anyway. At least I got my friends over here in this Instagram world. All right. So like I said, those fractures travel and bleed through every page of the book of your life. So we bring them into different things also. So these fractures again, and I'll speak for myself personally. I like to use myself as my own case study. So every fracture that I have suffered, endured in life, I've let travel and bleed into the aspects of my life. That PTHD followed me everywhere I went. I don't care how well I did something. I don't care what I was doing, relationship, work, money, friends, whatever. Like it followed me. Family, dealing with family, it followed me. And it traveled into every aspect, every friendship, every business, every opportunity that I got, every new parenting style I tried, because I didn't have a true parent that I feel like showed me the right way, into my community. You see, we bring them into all those areas, and I did the same thing. I'm sure if you deal with this, if you're honest and you actually know you have what we call PTHD, which stands for post-traumatic hood disorders, if you have disorders that you have allowed to Velcro to your spirit and your psyche and how you move throughout life, then trust me, that thing is there, and you're taking it there. And again, if you really want to know, I said this last week, if you really want to know if you're traveling with some of the stuff, this PTSD, do me a favor. Be honest with yourself. Ask the person that you're dealing with right now. I don't care if it's your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is. Ask them about you, how they experience you. What are some of the things that bother them about you the most? And then match that to what you've gone through in life. And then tell me if that exists in your life. PTSD still exists in your life. Is it still fracturing in your life? That's how you know. That's how you know. Ask people, it could be your friends too. Ask your friends too. People who spend the most time around you, who've seen you go through so many things in life. Not people who just see you celebrating on Facebook, taking selfies and doing all the great things in life. Not them people. The people that see you go through real life every day and how you respond to it, how you respond to them. That's how you know if you're growing or not. Listen, y'all, without realizing it, we begin fracturing chapters in our people's lives with wounds we never addressed ourselves. Some of the people around us are getting buckshots from our past that they didn't deserve or don't deserve. Sometimes you get mad at a person for doing something, and I say this all the time to people. Like, sometimes you hurt people because you're hurt and you don't want them to see you're hurt, so therefore you deflect. And other people get buckshots from your trauma and your past that don't deserve it. To me, that's all gang members are. To me, that's all drug dealers are. They're suffering from poverty issues. Gang members are probably suffering from love at home, and they think that the homies are the love that they're looking for. Broken relationships, you're suffering from abandonment issues, fatherless issues, motherless issues. family dysfunction, whatever it is, these are a lot of fractures, y'all, that we got to be real, that are normal for the most part. But they're fractures nonetheless. So let me talk about something real quick. This is how the cycle continues in our lives. A fractured parent can only do nothing but raise fractured children. A fractured leader can only build a fractured community. Stay with me. A fractured lover can create only a fractured relationship. A lot of people out here chasing the wrong thing for fractured reasons. They're chasing the wrong things. Men chasing, you know what? Women chasing men for money. These are all fractured concepts. It's so ridiculously prevalent on the internet today how dysfunctional these fractures show up in our lives. And all these podcasts and all these people talking about what a man is and how a man's supposed to be and what a woman's supposed to be and how a woman's supposed to do with things. Like, these people are so fractured and don't know it. I don't even watch this stuff no more because it's so sad to watch. These people just don't know that they fractured. They have chapters in their life that they're using to motivate them to move forward, that they haven't pulled the splinter out. Because you don't really need motivation to do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just do it. But sometimes people need motivation to do that. And in this lifetime, in today's time, rather, there's so many people talking about all these fractured relationships that don't know nothing. That don't know nothing but these experiences. They ain't studied nothing. They're not qualified for it. They just don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about their experience. Let me tell you something real quick. Your experience has nothing to do with mine. Your experience may have nothing to do with mine. His, hers, theirs. What other pronouns you got? Has nothing to do with it. The reason why I'm fractured is not the same reason why you're fractured. What bothers me may not bother you. What's hot to you may not be hot to me. What's cold to me may not be cold to you. What we go through at times don't always align with the other person's issues. But nonetheless, we're both fractured. And nonetheless, empathy is a thing that needs to always be practiced. Because if you're fractured, why can't the other person be fractured? And why can't you try to understand where they're coming from instead of trying to enforce your experience on them? I'm just saying. This episode, you guys, of Reset Sundays is about slowing down long enough to revisit the chapters we rush through emotionally. I want you guys to really sit with it and try to realize what it is that you actually had to go through, what you had to experience, what you had to do to come through the things you've gone through. And when have you talked to somebody about it? When have you let it out? When have you sat on the black couch and talked to a therapist? When have you been able to be open with your spouse or your loved ones and let them know how it's affected you or is still affecting you? Until you can talk about it and speak about it outwardly, inwardly it's going to eat you alive. You got to let it out. If I shake up a soda can right now, the pressure in there is going crazy. It takes a long time for me to sit that can down for it to settle for me to be able to open it. But if I do nothing but shake it up every day, all day, it's never going to settle. The only way it's going to come out is if the top blows and then explodes. Well, that's what it does when you hold all this stuff in. All these fractures that you've been dealing with, you're shaking them up every day. Relationships are shaking them up every day. You in the car driving, somebody cutting you off, shakes up your anger every day. You struggling to pay bills and robbing Peter to pay Paul every day is shaking up that poverty you going through when you was a child every day. That new deal you just got that you got to go close that deal today is shaking up your poverty because you don't want to go back to where you came from. And nobody should have to be in poverty ever. Poverty should never be a thing. But we know what it is once we go through it. So I don't want us to stay trapped in the past, y'all. It's time to move on. In other words, it's time to finally put a cast on what was broken. In other words, it's time to fix it. It's time to finally fix what we've been dealing with. Only you know what you've been dealing with. But guess what? You know you've been dealing with something. Like I say all the time, if you come from the hood, there's no way you escape the hood without a fracture. There's no way. It's designed to give you fractures. It's designed to break you. Forget a fracture. So a lot of people get broken. Some people are beyond a fracture. But to walk out of there unscathed, not a realistic idea, not a reality. So the only way that we deal with it is be honest and put it on the table. That's the only way I figured this whole PTHD thing out. Me going to counseling and getting the counseling that I needed to be able to identify and put words to what I was feeling and what I was experiencing. And when I did that, it just made all the sense in the world. I began to be able to put the cast on things that I need to fix. Now, the cast hasn't come off of a lot of things yet. They still got me walking crippled, figuratively. But at the same time, they're there, and I'm working on them, and I know they're there. Healing is what truly closes chapters. Doing what you got to do to heal truly gives you a chance to close the chapters. You can't avoid it and heal it. You can't allow distractions to heal it. Time alone, which is one of the phrases that I can't stand. All things do heal in time. No, they don't. Some things get worse. No, they don't. No, they don't. So time alone won't heal those fractures. And pretending that they're gone definitely will not heal the fractures. Now, some of us are really good at pretending that, these fractures are no longer there. Maybe because, we graduated from this prestigious school. We got this money. We got the house. We got the cars. We're traveling all the time. It seems like on the outside to the world that we're doing well, but inside of you, you get triggered when this happens or that happens. Like I said, ask the people around you. You'll figure out who you are real quick. Today, I want to ask you something. All right. What chapter in your life is still emotionally open? What chapter in your life is still emotionally open, fractured, wounded, no cast in sight? I want to ask you also, what pain did you normalize instead of heal? What pain did you realize of your experience when you grew up, where you grew up? Because all this stuff starts from childhood. When you grew up from where you grew up, what pain did you normalize? And are you still normalizing it? Next, I want to ask you, what fractures are still bleeding into your current life? What fractures are still bleeding into your current life? Let me give you an example for myself. For me, anger. I had a lot of abandonment issues in my growing up phases of life from my father and my mother. I felt like my father abandoned me completely. My mother abandoned me physically. She just wasn't there for me as much as I wanted her to be. And maybe she couldn't. It wasn't her fault. Maybe I was expecting too much. I don't know. But for me, for a long time, it was an issue. And that anger that it created went a long way growing up in the hood, because in the hood, anger was a good thing. It allowed you to fight back against the bullies and the gangbangers who wanted to punk. It allowed you to defend yourself, but the wrong way. And then those things created neural pathways that became part of my life as I moved on and became an adult. And you can't take that everywhere. I can't take the hood with me everywhere. So those things for me were tough, and I had to get through those things, and it was tough. I'm still working through those things. It's tough. But you got to make the choice to put the cast on, and as long as you put the cast on, you know that it's there because you're gonna be walking crippled. You're gonna be walking like unorthodox. You know what I mean? You're gonna be moving differently than other people. So you put the cast on, you're gonna know it's there. It's gonna make you gingerly deal with it better than just keeping the cast off and acting like everything is okay until you bump it and it actually hurts and the pain is excruciating. I know I'm giving you all kind of analogies, but hopefully they land. My other question I want to ask you guys today is, who have you unintentionally hurt from your own unresolved pain? Is it your children? Is it a spouse, an ex? Is it a family member? Is it a friend? Maybe is it yourself? Who have you hurt intentionally or unintentionally because of your fractures? And lastly, I want to ask you, what would it take, or I'm sorry, what would it look like to finally heal instead of merely survive the fractures you've been dealing with? What would it take to heal it finally? I want you to sit with that and think about that. Maybe your next level in life isn't blocked by lack of talent. Maybe it's blocked by untreated fractures from old chapters in your life. I say all the time, talent is not enough. Talent is a good thing to have. We all have our gifts. But those fractures in our mind, in our spirit, in our actions, in our words, can block the talent from truly achieving what it came to do. Last thing I'm gonna say is maybe Reset Sunday is where your healing begins. Maybe that's why you watch these with me. Maybe you need some of this reset in your life. Maybe you need Heal PTHD in your life, like me. In closing, you all, I want to say this. You cannot truly begin a new chapter while emotionally bleeding from the last one. I want you to think deep and hard about what I'm saying right now. If you grew up in any neighborhood, ghetto, I don't care what part of the country you're seeing this video in. If you're in LA, if you grew up in South Central, Watts, Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood, parts of Carson, I can't give Carson that much hood respect, but any of those areas, experience what we saw in the 80s and 90s, you got trauma, man. If you lost homies to the streets, to the prison, if you ever been banged on, just walking down the street, going to school, you ever been stopped by the police on Crenshaw in the wrong neighborhood? You ever been stopped by the police in Gardena, Torrance, Culver City, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills because you wasn't supposed to be there? Got sat on the curb, gun put to your head, threatened, your life threatened by these people because you were just in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time, according to them. Man, look, you got PTHD. Let's stop playing. You have PTHD. Remember, I said you cannot fully begin to heal chapters while emotionally bleeding from the last one. Just because you made it, man, don't mean that you made it. Don't mean that you're finished. Just because you got things going on, don't mean that you're finished. We're supposed to leave this world complete. Meaning complete that we did the work that we came to do We didn't allow these thorns, these fractures in our lives to stay with us and guide our decisions, make us emotionally unintelligent. That's not the goal. At least it shouldn't be. The goal is we need emotions, but we need logic too. And there's a such thing as called balance. And it's hard to balance something when you're driven more by the emotion of something that happened in the past, and your emotion is what drives your decision. And that emotion is going to get spewed onto other people because that's what you went through, but they didn't. And vice versa. They may do the same thing because birds of a feather flock together. So we're not what we attract, we're what we choose. And we usually choose people that remind us of the fractures because we haven't healed it. I feel like I'm going too far. But I hope that y'all get what I'm saying with this stuff, this session of Reset Sunday. So moving forward the rest of this week, we said reset for a reason, right? As my computer is spinning. I think my internet connection is low here where I'm at, but moving forward this week, I want to challenge you as I usually do. I want you to pay attention to what bothers you or triggers you this week. Until we meet next Sunday, what bothers you and what triggers you this week? Keep a note of it. Keep a note of when, who triggered you, how you felt, why you think that made you feel that way. Do some deep dive research on why. And when you figure that part out, keep notes and keep track of that. When we come back next Sunday for the next reset, like today's Q&A is about last week and what we're talking about a little bit today. We're going to have a little roundtable. So if you want to come in and you got the email or you got the text message, click that link that came with you, and you can come in and have a front row seat and we can talk about it. I only have 10 spaces, so first come, first serve. We're going to talk about that for a good 15 minutes after I close this in a second. But do that exercise this week and then let me know what you think next week. You can put it in the chat if you don't want to talk about it with everybody else next week. I like to know what's working for you and how you're working through it. The only way we know is we got to keep notes. Keep notes. Got it. Log it down. That way we know what it was and what happened, when it happened, how it happened, why it happened, and how it affected us. Hope this makes sense to y'all. Listen, I'm going to get out of here. I am Jasir, Heal PTHD. If you want to join me again, click the link for the Q&A session that's going to happen in a second. Come on in. I'll bring you in. But Instagram, thank y'all for joining me. Share this video with everybody that you know may be fractured, that may be suffering from PTHD issues. Maybe it's you. If it's you, you go to healpthd.com. And that's HEAL, not HILL. HEAL PTHD.com. Go there. Get involved. Let's put in some work. Put in work. Let's put in work on this healing, y'all. Come on. Talk to me. I'm Jasir. I'll talk to y'all later. I appreciate everybody who watched this. And please share this video as much as you possibly can. Let's get the likes. Let's get the subscriptions up on the YouTube page. This is something you should be sharing. Somebody giving you the game that nobody's ever told you. You probably never even heard of PTHD, but now you heard of it now. It's a thing. You can put a word to that thing that's in your head that you've been experiencing now. Let's promote this. Let's promote this. Pump it up like a chicken sandwich. Pump it up like a chicken sandwich. Pump it up like some new food you just found at some restaurant that don't know who you are. Pump this up. Let's get the page subscriptions up. Let's get more people involved. Let's put in the work to heal PTHD. Jasir Franklin, founder of PTHD. Y'all have a good Sunday. Have a good reset week coming up. I'll talk to y'all next week. Same time, same channel. Ashe. I'm out.